Hello and good evening. You're welcome to InvestBlade TV with Kenny. And today I'm talking about other numbers to look at in addition to the share price. And I'm going to use the example of Costco. Costco is a chain of a large supermarket chain in North America that does a form of membership. So if you're a member at Costco, you're able to buy things that they sell at ridiculously cheaper prices, and their food is very good, their clothing are very good. Sometimes they make better clothes than some other companies and some other fashion brands, to be specific. In fact, the last time I checked, the money that Costco makes from the clothing items has more is higher than I think Ralph Lauren and some other companies put together. So this is talking about a company that really knows what they're doing. So as of yesterday, today is November 6th, 2024. So Costco closed at $896 per share. So it's possible for somebody to say, oh, this price is too high. What else do you need to check before you can be able to say, okay, is this too high or too low? And that's going to take me to the first thing. And what you need to do is to check the price to earnings ratio. Price to earnings ratio. And price to earnings ratio is the proportion of a company's share price to its earnings per share. So that if I buy one unit of this share, what is the ratio to how much this share is able to earn me? And let's go to what is the price to earnings ratio of Costco. So price to earnings ratio is 54.07, and that's quite high. That means this stock is overvalued. And somebody says, oh, it's overvalued, I don't need to buy it. Well, it depends on who you are, it depends on what you're looking at, and it depends on what information you have. Let me look at another figure that you need to consider when you're looking at a stock of a company. And I like this one. It's returns on equity. Returns on equity. So this is how much returns you have that you're going to have from the money you invest in a company like Costco. So from last year, because this is trailing 12 months, that's using the last 12 months as a reference time period. So it's 30.27%. So that means if you invested $100, we've been using $100 as our reference figure. That means if you invested $100 into Costco last year, you are going to make $30 from that $100 investment. And of course, the term that everybody talks about is that previous performance is not a proof that this is going to happen again. So these are something you want to pay attention to as an investor. So that's price to we've talked about price to earnings ratio. I've talked about return on equity. I also want us to look at what's called institutional ownership. This institutional ownership, this is trailing 3 months. That's how much of this stock are owned by large institutions. And the way the financial sector works in the New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ, this institutional ownership could mean two things. Number one, how much confidence big money institutions have in Costco. So if you remember when I was talking about different investor styles, investing in a company like Costco that has year in, year out membership that people flock to for low priced items, that is a very anti-fragile business. I'll define that later. That's a business that in the midst of a turmoil will not easily be set in disarray. So big institutions that have lots of money to invest tend to ensure that they invest in things like this in order to preserve that. Now let's talk about another figure that's very interesting, and I'll call it beta. BETA, beta. Beta here is talking about the volatility of a stock in the midst of a market movement. So when beta is 1.0 let's talk about 1.0. When beta is 1.0, it means that anyway the market moves, this business moves in the same way. Now, if a company is 3.0, that means if the market moves, let's say there's a market decline of 20%, that means this stock will decline by 60%. Did you get that? That means beta is talking about the percentage volatility of a stock in the midst of broader market movement. I want to repeat that. So for Costco, so Costco is 0.80. That means that if the market declines by 10%, for example, Costco would only decline by 8%. So that makes it a very defensive play in the midst of a market turmoil. I hope that makes sense to you. That means if there's a it's so beautiful to see a company like Costco that is having a beta lower than 1, because that means in the midst of a decline, it's not going to decline as much as the market decline. However, in the midst of a market growth, for example, let's assume the broader market increases by 10%, Costco would not increase in the same manner. So these are a few figures that are very interesting for you to know. And I want you to begin to see that, listen, what a share price is saying is not as important as the other numbers that surround it. When we begin to look at different stocks and how they compare with each other, you may see that indeed 2 of you could buy the same stock of a company. Let's assume I bought Costco in January for $100, or I spent $100 on Costco in January, and another person spent, let's say, $100 on Costco in October. The difference may be clearer than light and darkness depending on the other numbers surrounding it. So let's assume price to earnings ratio was 4 as at the time I bought in January, and the price to earnings ratio is now 54 when this person is buying in October, for example. That means this person has spent much more than they needed to in buying the same share. So this is very important. I also want to talk about one more thing, and this is dividend. Dividend for Costco, the dividend is 0.52. That's estimate, but dividend trailing 12 months is 0.50%. So that means you can have 0.5% dividend for every unit of Costco you have. Somebody says, well, I only invested $100 in Costco, and the dividend and the share price itself is 896. What this means is that you are going to have 0.5% of whatever amount of money you have invested in the stock. And this is very, very interesting for you to note. Just to do a bit of a comparison, if this is something you might like, okay, let me take one more figure. Let's look at relative strength index. Relative strength index, and here it's 54.82. That's the one for Costco. Relative strength index is talking about whether a stock is extended or there's still room for it to run. Is it close to a decline? So relative strength index is from, I think, 0 to 70. So the closer you are to 70, the closer this stock is to declining. So here we find a situation where you have a very defensive play in Costco, and then you're trying to check what is the best way to approach this stock. If you have money to invest and you don't want it to suffer a decline, you need to pay attention to when is the best time to come in to buy this stock, for example. So in such a way, you might not find yourself needing to do a technical analysis. Technical analysis is a different kettle of fish for those that are subscribed to our program, they'll be able to enjoy both the narrative of the stock and then the technical analysis. So for example, a technical analysis result will come like this. Tesco is good, it's good to buy and things like that, but it's going to fall to maybe $500 in a few months. So even though you want to buy Tesco, even though you want to buy Costco, beg your pardon, don't buy it now until it has fallen to that place. Now, that is the advantage of merging fundamental analysis and technical analysis. So you're able to look at cash flow, debt ratio, price to earnings ratio, and then you're able to also see what the price action is. I hope this helps you, and this is other numbers to look at in addition to the share price of a stock. Now, as beautiful as these numbers are, not all these numbers are available for stocks in the Nigerian stock market. And I hinted that when I had the episode on investing in US stocks versus investing in stocks in Nigeria. And don't forget, there are still other stocks in the world different from stocks in the US market. And I hope that helps, and see you in the next one. If there's any kind of figure in analyzing stocks that you want me to talk about, put it in the comment. If this helps you, if this has helped you, let me know, and see you in the next one. Share to somebody that is still hesitant about investing in the stock market. Take care of yourself, and see you in the next episode.